Imagine a name that whispers of scandal, power, and poison. A name that even centuries later can send a shiver down your spine. That name is Lucrezia Borgia. Was she a monster? A femme fatale who dispatched her enemies with a poisoned ring? Or was she a pawn? A beautiful, tragic puppet in the brutal power games of Renaissance Italy? Let's pour a glass, don't worry, this one's safe, and uncover the truth. Lucrezia was born in 1480, and her destiny was sealed from the start. Her father wasn't just any nobleman. He was Rodrigo Borgia, soon to be Pope Alexander VI. And her brother? The infamous ruthless Cesare Borgia. In the Borgia family, children weren't just loved, they were assets. And Lucrezia, with her golden hair and striking beauty, was the most valuable asset of all. Her life became a series of strategic marriages, each one designed to further the Borgia ambition. At just 13 years old, she was married off to Giovanni Sforza, a man from a powerful Milanese family. The wedding was a spectacle of unimaginable wealth, but alliances in Renaissance Italy were as fragile as glass. When the Sforza family was no longer useful, the marriage had to end. How? The Borgias launched a public campaign, claiming the marriage was unconsummated and that Giovanni was impotent. Humiliated and furious, Giovanni fled, but not before starting a vicious rumor, one that would haunt Lucrezia forever. He accused her of an incestuous relationship with her own father, the Pope. This was just the beginning. Her second husband, Alfonso of Aragon, was a different story. By all accounts, Lucrezia genuinely loved him. He was handsome, noble, and they had a son together. For a brief moment, it seemed she might find happiness, but the political winds shifted again. Her brother Cesare now needed an alliance with France, and Alfonso, being from a Spanish allied family, was in the way. One night on the steps of St. Peter's Basilica, Alfonso was brutally attacked by assassins. He survived, but his fate was sealed. While he was recovering in the Apostolic Palace, with Lucrezia herself nursing him, an armed group led by Cesare's most loyal man burst in. They claimed Alfonso was plotting against them. In front of a horrified Lucrezia, they strangled her husband in his bed. This is where the legend of the poisoned chalice truly takes hold. With two husbands discarded in brutal fashion, the rumor swirled. People whispered that Lucrezia hosted lavish banquets only to slip a drop of cantarella, the secret Borgia poison, into the wine of her family's enemies. They pictured her with a hollow ring, the Borgia ring, filled with a deadly powder ready to sprinkle onto a rival's plate. The image of the beautiful smiling hostess dealing death became her legacy. But here's the twist. Look closely at the historical records and a different picture emerges. There is not a single credible piece of evidence that Lucrezia Borgia ever poisoned anyone. Not one. The stories of her incest, her cruelty, her poisonings, they were almost all started by the enemies of her family. The Sforzas, the Orsinis, the rivals who feared the Pope and his ruthless son. Lucrezia was the perfect propaganda tool. A woman's reputation was her most vulnerable point, and by painting her as a depraved monster, they could tarnish the entire Borgia name. After the death of her father and the fall of her brother, Lucrezia's life took a final, surprising turn. She was married a third time to Alfonso d'Este, the Duke of Ferrara. At first, the court of Ferrara was terrified of her. They expected the monster from the rumors. Instead, they found a pious, intelligent, and capable duchess. She created a vibrant court of artists and poets. She was a savvy businesswoman, and she dedicated herself to charity, founding hospitals and convents. The people of Ferrara grew to love her. She effectively shed the Borgia skin and became her own woman. So who was the real Lucrezia Borgia? She was undoubtedly a pawn in her family's brutal ambitions. Her life dictated by men who saw her only as a tool. She endured unimaginable loss and slander, but she was also a survivor. A woman who, when finally given the chance, ruled with grace and intelligence, rewriting her own story. The poisoned chalice, it seems, was not one she served from, but one she was forced to drink from her entire life. A chalice filled with the lies and ambitions of others. And that is a far more tragic and far more human story than the myth.